thank you, Patrick and HP for inviting us to speak here. I'm going to spend only about 10 minutes here, in essence, re-emphasizing many of the points that Patrick brought up, but from an Intel standpoint, maybe a little bit different flavor. And in the spirit of audience participation, I'm going to ask you a question as well, so I want people to raise their hand. You don't have to give me any private information or anything, just keep your hands up if you can. We're going to talk about, for a second here, devices. I saw a slide that talked about 4 billion devices out there now. So by show of hands, and keep your hands up please, so we can press it, how many people have at least 2 devices that they use? A device being a desktop, a notebook, a laptop, a tablet, a handheld, a phone. Okay, at least 2. I'd be embarrassed if not everybody has their hands up right now. Okay, how many people have 4 or more devices? Please keep your hands up. What about more than 5? That's still pretty significant. Yeah, about a dozen people I'd say here. So I asked that question, and I've been in forums where we have asked that question several times, and over the last 18 months, it's amazing where probably about 18, 24 months ago, there were only 1 or 2 people in the audience that would have kept their hand up in an audience this size at the 4 or 5 mark, honestly. That's really grown tremendously to about a dozen here, I'd say, today. But over time, that's going to be the norm. Right now, obviously, the keyword here is more. More connections by more users using more devices and more data. Intel forecasts that by the year 2015, we will have 15 billion devices being used by a little over 3 billion users. So that will be an average. That question now will be an average of 5 devices per user. Obviously, different parts of the country, different geographies, different areas of the world will have a higher average. But the point being, 5 will be the average. That's a pretty significant number. And the internet traffic that we project for that time period, 2015, will be 10x what it is today. Very incredible scenario. What that does is it really drives a new business or a new competitive element out there for all of our customers. You're going to have to figure out how to reach all of those users, offer them a unique and a rich experience, and figure out how to use all that data you get back. How do you use the data to provide better services, to figure out where they're trending in terms of the services they'll need later. So incredible growth right now. This is a great slide. This should actually be a circle around this poor IT guy with his head banging on a keyboard. I don't know if he's asleep because he's spent or he's banging his head on the keyboard here, but the point is that IT is under huge constraints, not only by these elements here, data storage, security, power cost, responsiveness, network bottlenecks, but trying to provide that to thousands of employees, their services to thousands of employees, and millions of users at a time, and providing a unique service and a valuable service so it's not farmed out, is very stressful. It's an incredible stress on IT. And later on top of that, the fact that the software they deal with has code that's been developed 20, 30 years ago, sometimes 20 days ago. I mean, that's a huge dynamic, right? They have to deal with that environment with limited staff, limited budget, limited bandwidth. So now more than ever, I know we hear this every year, IT is strained, IT is strained, IT is strained. Now more than ever, I think that is actually exponentially growing, not just a year-to-year thing. Again, just going back to the analogy of the devices, how that's exploding, the data explosion. These are getting worse and worse. So we'll move to the cloud here now. I'm trying to set the stage of those two first boils. Intel's approach to cloud computing. I'm going to use some terms here that, again, really replicate what was talked about a little bit earlier, just a different take. So from Intel's standpoint, there are 3 elements in our vision to the approach to cloud computing. One is federated. We need to have a federated set of data, federated environment so that it can move between a public cloud, a private cloud, hybrid cloud, managed cloud, every cloud imaginable. And that has to be something that customers don't have to deal with. It moves easily, moves between. We talked about different types of clouds, and not every customer can have their needs met by just one solution, right? So we can't just say all customers are going to move to hybrid or all are going to move to public eventually. The fact of the matter is every customer is different, every customer's needs are different, their application set's different, environment's different. In fact, what we spend a lot of time on in my group, and I'm sorry to get deeper into that in terms of introduction, I'm the sales manager of a group of people that covers the internet data center and cloud computing customers, large customers and smaller customers on the west coast of the United States. So I'm infusing as much as I can here, real discussions I've had with my customers and feedback I've had from them over the years. And the importance here is HP, Intel, and our partnership and our touch points with these customers have to look at how we help them in their life cycle. They're not going to stay on a private cloud very likely. They're not going to stay or go 100% to a public cloud very likely. As they evolve and mature, they'll very likely move from model to model. We have to be able to help them with that. And we have to, from a federated standpoint, create an environment that allows them to do it. And we'll touch on the open piece in a second here. Automating, again, already touched on, but automation also in terms of power management, performance management, data management, etc. That needs to be automated so that IT can take that time, that bandwidth that they get back from automation and invest in innovation. And lastly, client aware. Again, going back to the huge number of devices we're going to be seeing out there, the difficulty here is making the cloud and providing a service as a customer to clients based on the device they have. A very smart cloud that is cloud client aware. The interface you're going to provide or the experience you're going to provide someone with a notebook is going to be different, completely different than the experience you're going to provide someone with a phone. If you just simply push that image or that user interface to a phone, it's going to be very poor. So you're not going to want to provide that as a business to your customers. So you're going to have to build a cloud that is client aware, that can read what the client is capable of and push to the client something that is a very good experience. Open standards, Intel's always pushed this. Intel is about open standards. There are several agencies here or alliances. We are the advisor to the Open Data Center Alliance, where there are a significant number and size of enterprise customers, both as founding members that are just participating. But the point here is there are billions of dollars in IT spend in aggregate in that alliance, and they're starting to speak with their pocketbook. They're starting to require open standards in RFPs generically. So we like what we see here in terms of progress. We have an Intel Cloud Builder program here too. We have tons of partners. Kind of difficult to see from the audience, obviously. But what we're doing here is building the software and hardware recipes, if you will, or playbooks that allow customers to go build or figure out how they want to build or work with partners like HP on building a cloud. So HP is leading the way with Intel Cloud Technologies, as you saw, and I think Tim is going to go into way more detail soon on the ProLine Gen 8 product. But HP is definitely leading the way. And right here, what I'm trying to show you here is kind of more of a progression of what we've been talking to customers about, and HP's been talking to customers about. And I challenge all of you today, if you've not had these conversations with HP or Intel, please do either today while you're walking around or get engaged with one of us or both of us. We work very well together in our partnership in trying to solve these things. Most of our discussions initially with Intel are around performance. Xeon processors, 10 gig Ethernet, their speeds and feeds, and we talk about performance and we talk about the product. We have a great product right now, Sandy Bridge, and there are a slide here, but I'll skip through it because I think Tim will touch on some of these things. But we're very focused on the performance and responsiveness of these highly available clouds, where we've transitioned some of that discussion, especially since the McAfee acquisition, is now into security. Intel TXT, or Trusted Execution Technology, and AES&I, which is the advanced authentication. What we've done here is we've embedded this down to the chip level, right? So this is a very important element to Intel, security down to the chip level. Very hardened. With McAfee, we have a cloud secure program, and again, where I think we're starting to have the conversation today, and we need to continue those conversations, is helping our customers and enabling our customers to provide a very good product that is client aware and can provide the best user experience based on the client that's pulling that. I'll just touch on these highlights. Again, New Zealand processor family, E5 family, which is a Sandy Bridge, 90 or 80% performance team, generation to generation, breakthrough I/O innovation, supporting PCI Express 3.0, which doubles I/O bandwidth, trusted security. I touched on TXT, and best-in-class data center performance per watt, up to 50% improved energy efficiency, generation to generation. So in summary, again, I just want you to take away from the short time I was able to spend here that Intel is very focused on addressing today's data center challenges, driving cloud through thought leadership through those open alliances, delivering innovation at the heart of the data center with partners like HP, and understanding and developing a solution for tomorrow's data center challenges. Thank you for the time. I appreciate HP allowing us some minutes here on the stage, and